Back, my reborn FamBam. How are you guys all doing today? I hope you guys are having an amazing day or whatever. So today I'm going to be talking about adopting and adoption of a teen that we were going to adopt. We were in the process. We went to get an attorney. We were going to adopt a 13-year-old girl, and that didn't happen. And this is the reason why I started to purchase my first realistic silicone baby doll. So yeah, that's why I have a doll channel. And I did have another channel that was J Girl Beauty, FamBam with makeup, and I did other stuff on it. I started off with story times and caregiving for my grandpa, and a lot of people had enjoyed my videos. I did all kinds of stuff on my channel as well. But anyways, if this is a trigger warning and childhood trauma that affected my marriage, and for me not to be able to reverse my tubes and have kids, click off and I will catch you guys on the next one. This is about childhood trauma. This is about adoption. This is about infertility, that I couldn't have kids, and why I purchased a silicone baby doll. But if you can't handle the trauma or handle any of this because it's fresh to you, or but if it helps you, then I would like to have you guys listen. If not, and you it's just a trigger warning that if you can't, just click off the video, and I'll see you on the next one. So never forget, te amo muchísimo. And, you know, I'll be fine with it. So I used to even try to talk to myself and say, like, everything's going to be okay, you know? And so I would be at school, and she would call me sometimes, and she would be like, we left to the store. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, we went to go eat after he picked me up from school when she was going to school, and we ate McDonald's. Okay, that's fine. You know, stuff like that. Sometimes though, like, we would go places or something, and I would kind of like see my husband like looking at her like more obvious or whatever. But you know, like I said, I can't say for sure that he was, you know, into her, or he wanted her, or he was gonna do something. I just seen those things. I don't know if it was the trauma, or I was just always worried about something happening, you know what I'm saying? So I don't blame anybody. I know that now, after all it happened, I know that I was to blame. I know he was to blame, my husband, and I know she was to blame. So it was all of us at the end of the day, you know, where, you know, things happened later on. So anyways, back to, so one day, they started hanging out more, and there was one time where she didn't tell me that they if she could go with him. She just left, and I think one day she let me know, and she told me, I think after the fact, and I was going to school and I was cutting someone's hair, a client's hair, and I literally blanked out. It was like I had a PTSD moment right then and there. I just totally freaked out. But all this stuff that was being said to me, told, and what she was telling me, what I was seeing, it just like really affected me. I blanked out. I couldn't even cut the lady's hair, the clients, because I forgot how to do it. So I start literally crying, and my instructor comes out and finishes her, and I go to the room and I'm just bawling. And she comes to the room and she asks me like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I'm telling her, and I'm literally crying, and she's like, you need to really be careful, she tells me, because that's not good, and you need to take care of yourself. And she's like, I'm getting this weird vibe, she tells me. And so I'm literally crying, and I have to leave my school because I'm in trauma. My trauma affected me. You know, I was in a daze. I forgot. So I go home and everything, and I keep on trying, and I keep on trying, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't adopt her. We're still going through the process. My husband keeps saying yes, he wants to, and I'm saying no. And you know, and he's just like, this is gonna be our daughter. And I'm just like, this is just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much for me, and I don't want to go through this stuff, you know? But when you have someone saying like, let's do this, and you don't feel that still, and then you feel a little girl that is trying to say all these things to you and make you feel like, then what is it? Is he really making you feel uncomfortable? Or are you just saying this? Is it just all BS to make me freak out, or is it true? At the end of the day, I don't know. So I remember one day that my husband told her that she might even be lying, that my sister's husband never did that to her. He told her. And so then she gets mad at him, and she's like, I don't even want him to adopt me. I don't even want him to be like a dad. He's not. He's just a friend to me. She starts telling me this and that, right? So she's like, I don't even like being around him. But that's a lie, because he said that she used to tell him things where he thought that he liked her, she liked him. She used to tell us what we wanted to hear. She would tell my husband what he wanted to hear, and she would tell me what I wanted to hear. She knew how to do that really well. So so I don't even know, you know, whatever. So as the years go by, as the days go by, now I'm like, is it true? Did she just tell me this because she knew I didn't put up with that? Or is it true? Did this guy really do what he did? And now at this time, I know she's a liar. I know she's a manipulator. So now I don't believe it. Like, it's hard to believe her or not to believe her. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I asked him, so we keep going on or whatever. And then as the years go by, she's telling me to watch these videos of people adopting, and they end up being in love with each other, and then they start dating, and then the wives, I guess, get divorced. And so I watch a lot of them, and I'm just like, oh boy. And so it's just becoming just really bad. There was one time, I think I was telling his family, like, maybe my husband does like this little girl. Maybe he is obsessed with her, you know, because this isn't cool. This isn't right. This just doesn't feel right, like, you know. And so they were like, no, you know, no, he wouldn't. He's not like that. He's just like wants to be her dad. And he even did that with his niece. So, okay, whatever. So we go on, and then one day she's like, trying to think, because this has been forever. So then she would wear like these tight pants, you know, because back in the day, a lot of girls wear these tight pants. And she would walk in front of my husband and me, and I was like, no, walk on the side, or, you know, walk whatever. So, you know, my husband doesn't check you out, because she would tell me these things, and then I kind of seen them, but I'm not for sure, because you don't know where people's really eyes are. Sometimes you could be staring this way, and people think you're staring at them, and you're not. You're in a daze somewhere else, you know? So I couldn't say for sure. And anyways, so she would wear all these tight shorts, and then I would be like, you know, you shouldn't be wearing these tight pants and these tight things, because it's not good for my husband or anybody to be checking you out. You should wear a little bit loose. And then I would come to realize this and think this, and I was like, you know what, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. You wear whatever you want to wear, because I was trying not to let these things affect me, like, you provoke this guy to do whatever. Because even now, and even since I grew up and after all that happened to me, I don't want to provoke a man. So when I hug a man or anything, I make sure I hug him on the side, and we're not touching here or whatever. We're just like, cool, hi, you know, or a handshake. I try not to provoke men. I just grew up with that mentality to not provoke men no more, you know. So then what happened now? So we keep going to counseling and whatnot, and then I think we kind of stopped because it was getting crazy. So one day she tells me, we're driving, and this is what just took the cake for me. She tells me that, is it lying if me and Jeff are hanging out while you're at school, and we're not just hanging out after I do school? I mean, after I do school, we're hanging out and stuff, and we're we're talking and we're enjoying each other's company or whatever. I don't know what she was saying. And I was like, well, yeah, that's lying because you lied to me and you guys betrayed me, and there's no loyalty right there. There's no trust. There's nothing now. Now it's all gone. So that even like made me more mad. And after all that, it was like I didn't even want to have nothing to do with her. I was done with her. I didn't care where she went. I basically wanted her to move out. I even told her to go back with her brother. And then so one day we're sitting at the table, and I was upset with my husband too. There was one time we were sitting at a table at my old house, and she was sitting right here, and then my husband was in front, and my son and my daughter and her girlfriend, and I was sitting in the back, but I was like on front of her, and she was kind of behind me, and she starts pulling down her zipper hoodie, and when I turn around and look, she zips it up really fast, and then she starts crying when she stands. And she starts crying, and she starts shaking supposedly because my husband was right by her. And so we go into the garage, and she's all trembling and crying and saying that I don't know what happened, but right by her, she was started to get scared, and she started like freaking out and whatever. And I was like, this girl is too much. That's what I thought. And so after all that, there was one day where she would never get ready or anything like that, right? So one day I told her that I was gonna go to Santa Fe. I was going out with my friend and I would be back later. So I ended up not going with my friend because I don't know why she just decided not to go to Santa Fe. And so that day, in that morning, she put on makeup, she did her hair, and I walked in the room and I go, so what did you get all ready for? I'm not going anywhere. I said, did you get ready for my husband? Wow. And I started laughing, and she started crying, and I'm like, if the shoe fits, right? Like, you never get ready, but yet I'm leaving. So you got ready today? For who? You know? Like, she knew what she was doing. Maybe she didn't intend for him to like her. Maybe she didn't like him because he's a grown man, but she did things on purpose too. And I'm sure to get on my last nerve. So that was that. They used to text a lot too, and then all of a sudden, I guess they were talking to each other on her iPad, and I did say one day, but I never checked it. So yeah, so finally my trauma affected our marriage, and that's why I say my childhood trauma affected our marriage, and us adopting that little girl and all that went on made me not be able to reverse my tubes and have a baby, because that's what we were gonna do. And that's what I wanted. My husband wanted that too. But now that all this is going on, that's not happening now because okay, so keep on, let's keep going. So now I could have looked, I should have looked. There was messages that were on her iPad, and I would even wonder like why they weren't calling each other, why they weren't talking, because usually they would message each other on the cell phone, and now there's no messages. So where are they talking to? Well, they were talking on the iPad while I was at school or whatever. So if they needed to text each other, they were doing it secretly on her iPad, and I guess on his. I don't really know how or what, or maybe through email. I don't know. I never seen the iPad to look, so I just let it go, and I knew they were texting somehow, but I didn't check further. But I knew that they weren't doing it on the phone anymore. So it's beyond me. I don't know. She said that she didn't like him as even wanting to be her friend after he had said that maybe she lied about my sister's husband touching her. So anyways, did she? I don't even know what happened to that part. But anyways, I know she was going to court, and she was telling him that she had touched him. I guess everything got dropped, or we never showed up because it was a whole process. We never went to court. So I guess they threw it out. I have no idea. So anyways, they're doing that. And sometimes it used to seem like he woke up and we were fighting a lot in our, like, our sex life was not there no more. He would wake up, he would tell her good morning, and he would make her breakfast, and we were like just like always arguing. Now it was at the bad part where it was just done. I had a lot of resentment towards him because what he did, like him knowing that the counselor had told us that a long time ago, and she said, even think about it before you even go through the process of adopting her. And then my husband was even so I was hurt with him, and then he still wanted to adopt her. And then everything that, I mean, after the counselor told him to not do what they did, and then they did that to me, so I had a lot of bitterness and resentment towards him that it was just whatever. We even almost got a divorce because of everything. So she ends up running away one day, and that's where a lot of it went to crazy. I remember she ran away, and I was like, well, she went with someone, and then I found out she left with her brother. Her brother came to pick her up, and I had even told her, because she was like, do you think my brother will ever talk to me? I'm like, yeah, he will. You know, your family is always going to be your family no matter what you're fighting or what anything goes through. If you break up with a wife, a husband, anybody, your family is always there for you no matter what, you know? So she ends up running away, and my husband is telling me that he wants a divorce. He doesn't want to be with me no more because she runs away. And so I'm like, okay, then let's get a divorce, I guess. If that's what makes you happy, let's do it. So she runs away. He starts manhandling me. And we're in the garage, we're fighting, and I'm like, dude, like, don't bring me back to my old roots, because this girl got the gangster style in her. No, I'm just kidding. The loquera. And so anyways, he pisses me off, and I end up getting him in a headlock, and I slam him into the door in our house, our old house, and it breaks the little door handle there because it goes a lot more in there. He has a big old knot on his head. And yeah, we were separated for a while. I end up seeing some other guy, talking to him and everything, because he told me he didn't want to be with me. And because of a girl? Because of the girl we were going to adopt? Hello? That's crazy. I was like, whatever. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do this, you know, if that's what you want. But I was already at my wit's ends. Like, I didn't even care either. It was like, whatever. So I was fine with it. We could get our divorce. And so I don't know what happened. I guess he came to his senses, and he was like okay with her leaving finally and us being together. He apologized. He said he was sorry for everything, and he really loved me, and he didn't want me to leave, and he didn't want me to he didn't want to divorce me. And I was like, well, you said you did, so whatever. And so he said no, he apologized. We end up working through it, but he tells me that he doesn't want to adopt another kid. I mean, he doesn't want me to reverse my tubes and us have a kid, because he's scared that my trauma will affect us if we have a baby, and if it's a girl. And he doesn't want to go through that anymore. So, okay. So I'm grieving now. I have a struggle with not being able to have kids because of my tumor. I'm upset because someone makes me tie my tubes when I don't want to tie my tubes. And I'm young. After I had my boys, I think I was 22, 23. Tying your tubes that young? A lot of people don't do that, but they did, because I had already had my 2 sets, right? So they did. They tied them. So, and they burned them. So I'm hurt because of all this, and now we can't have kids. So I'm grieving, and I'm sad. I'm depressed because of all this trauma. And then one day he tells me he was going to show me them texting each other, because I knew they were texting in the laptop. And he's like, I was going to show you, but I don't know what happened. The hard drive, everything erased. I didn't believe that. I think he deleted it. I think he erased everything. I don't know. I'm not God. I can't prove it. I'm not I can't prove that. But I wanted to take the laptop to go and get, I guess you can find all these messages. Well, I never did it. I didn't care. I didn't want to see anything. Because he used to always tell her that I was crazy. It was just my trauma. Just like ignore me, I guess. I don't know. Stuff like that he would tell her. So she used to think I was crazy. I'm sorry, girl, but if you're watching this, because I know you do, I know your family does too, I guess you'll realize what you did was wrong. I know what I've done. I know that I have to take accountability of everything that I did, but at the end of the day, I told you not to worry about it, because I would joke around with you. But when you betrayed me and you lost my trust, that's where I couldn't even be like nice to you anymore, because that's not what you do. That's not something you do, especially when you're going to counseling, especially hearing someone say not to do that. You guys should have kept that boundary, and I think things would have turned out differently. But since you guys decided to just go ahead and crap all over me and walk all over me, it happened the way it did, you know. God's plans are always the way it's supposed to be for the good of his children, it says in the Bible. And so however it turned out, you know. You left, you ran away. I was hurt with you. I didn't even really care. And me, I can't hide those emotions. I can't be fake. I'm not a fake person. So my feelings were valid, and after that it was like I didn't care too much about you. That's the truth. I didn't. So it is what it is. I just don't like when someone does that to me, because I was good to you and I believed what you had said at the beginning. And then after all this and everything that you were saying, you know, you don't lie about people, and you don't lie about stuff like that. Me, that's a no-no, especially because I got twice by my uncle at 11 years old, an innocent kid. And then for my parents, my mother not to believe me, my aunt not to believe me, and say I provoked that man. You don't do that to a person. Now I know you're older now, so hopefully in life you'll learn things. And I heard you had a baby, so hopefully in your life you'll learn to not lie about things like that, and you'll learn to be a good mother and a good person. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what someone has gone through. Just like people don't know my story. They don't know about all the trauma and everything that I've been through. And I'm here today still sitting. And I take full responsibility for my actions and for what I've done. But you know that I would tell you stuff, but I would come to my senses and know that no, I need to not. And I would tell you, go ahead. And I was just joking with you. Maybe it didn't sound like jokes at the time, but I told you that I was joking and it was okay. And I take responsibility for my actions, and all I can say is I'm sorry and move on with my life and be a better person, because repentance means turn away from it and do better. And at the end of the day, I can take responsibility and be accountable of what I've done in my life. And I've always been like that. And I hope I could continue to be like that. But as of you, I haven't heard you apologize for what you've done. But it wasn't just me. It was you. It was him too. It was all three of you. And maybe you'll learn some stuff. Maybe you'll learn some in life, you know, that you don't do that. And, you know, you shouldn't lie, make up things, and you shouldn't, be a manipulator. I know you learned it and stuff, but you should unlearn the habits and the stuff that you learned as through your parents, because it was hard for me as well. but I have learned too that we got to be better than them, because at the end of the day, that's how you want to be and how you want to raise your kids at the end of the day. But anyways, let's get back to why I purchased a silicone baby doll, and this girl has helped me with the grief, with the sadness, with the depression. So anyways, we keep going on in life. You know, there's still a little bit of bitterness sometimes too. I would fight, we would argue, and I would throw it in his face and stuff like that. So we go on in time, and I'm just like, I want another baby. Like, I never wanted to tie my tubes, because I believe that you multiply the world. Like, if God's gonna give you more, he's gonna give you more. If he's not, he's not. So I hated that I tied my tubes and I listened to someone. I think that even at the end of the day, do things because you want to do it, because I didn't want to do that. And even if you're married, like, I know people want to control you, but sometimes deep down inside, do what is it for you. Like, we could have did other stuff instead of tying my tubes. Anyways, beyond that, I'm married to him, and I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? I really want one. I know you do. It won't be like that. I don't know what it would have been like if we did. So he tells me one day, like, if it makes you happy, he's like, yeah, let's go ahead and untie your tubes and let's have a baby. So I'm like, okay. So we go in through the process, and we're doing all that, and I can have babies, he can have babies, and we're good, right? Well, they find out I have Hashimoto's, but that's okay. You know, you're just allergic to gluten. So, I don't know, something happened, and I'm like, no. I know you're saying I'll have a baby with you just so you can be happy. And that didn't sound good to me, because I'm like, okay, what if we do have a baby and he's not happy, but I'm happy, and it fulfills me, but it doesn't fulfill him. So I'm like, no, maybe not. And then, as he even tells me, we're getting older too, and we are, and I start getting really bad with my diabetes, and I'm like, no, maybe not. And so I'm like, I never had a hysterectomy, because I was about to have a hysterectomy when I was 25, 35, and I never did it. So I was like, no, let's not have no more babies, and I'm just gonna have a hysterectomy. So I end up getting a hysterectomy, and I start watching the Reborn family. Her name's Christina. She has a silicone realistic baby doll. She's crying. I'm crying with her, because she's telling the story about, she's on a TV show, and she's telling the story about how she had a miscarriage and she couldn't have babies. And I'm like, I've had this struggle with not being able to have kids, not being able to untie my tubes, because of all this trauma that I had to go through when we were adopting a girl later on in life. It wasn't a baby, it was an adult, well, a teen, and that didn't happen. And so I'm crying, I'm really depressed, because I'm saying that I'm okay with it, but deep down inside, it still hurt me, it still bothered me, because I wanted more kids, you know? I said I want to cry. So I see her. Hold on. Let me get myself together. I see Christina, and she has a realistic silicone baby doll. And she's all role playing with them. They're taking their kids, and they have real kids. And her husband's even helping and role playing with them, and this realistic baby doll. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want one so bad. So I lived through her for a while and watched her and everything. And I end up purchasing my first realistic silicone baby doll. And I'm the type of person that has never cared about what anybody has thought about me. Because I've always had a motto, if you don't like me, don't look. If you don't like how I'm dressed, don't look. Look the other way. If you don't like me, that's on you. Just don't look. That'll help you, just like me. If I don't like it, I don't look. I just go on my day, because why? What for? What for? Anyways, so I didn't care, and so I asked her where she got her baby from. She told me where she did, and I ended up purchasing her, and that's why she's so special to me. I end up getting her, and she's such a preemie. And my boys were 4'11" and 5'8" when they were born. My daughter was 6 pounds, 6'9" I think, yeah. And she is so cute and so tiny, and I have such a bond with this little girl because she brought me happiness, which is crazy, huh? It helps my anxiety. It's helped me through the whole process of not wanting a baby anymore. Now I'm good. I do have baby fever, so when I do, I just get another one. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I end up purchasing her, and I get her, and I'm able to hold her, and she's so realistic, and she's kind of like a baby feeling, but she's not real, right? At the end of the day, I know she's not. And I put her away and go about my day, right? So this is why I ended up having my Reborn collection, and this is why I ended up getting a realistic baby doll, because a lot of people go to therapy and they started telling them to go and buy one where they can't have kids and they're not able to ever have kids, they're barren, and they tell them to go and purchase these, and it helps them. And she has helped me tremendously. She helped my grieving, because I did grieve. I didn't have a miscarriage, but I still grieved not being able to have any more kids and have kids. And I was sad. She's helped my sadness. She's helped my happiness, because she's so cute. She's so precious. And I play with them, and I role play with them, and I put them away for the end of the day. And when I get baby fever, I just hold them and get them again. So yeah, so this is why I purchased her. And a lot of people always ask me, well, why didn't you adopt? Why do you have a doll? Why ask why? A lot of people don't know. Sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut. It's best not to ask questions. It's a hobby. A lot of people do it because they want to. They love dolls. They collect dolls for whatever reason it is. There's people that have been through a lot of stuff, had miscarriages, have lost a child, and they get these babies to help them. Even my doctor was even like, does she know that it's fake? We're asking this nurse, and she was like, yeah, she does it for YouTube and because of, but she knows it's a doll. Guys, I'm not crazy. I know it's a doll, but this is what I love doing. So yeah, a lot of people don't know my story. A lot of people don't know what I've been through, but this is why. This is why I have a doll. I didn't go and adopt, because there's different reasons that a lot of people don't adopt a baby. I would never adopt a baby, because even when they grow up, a lot of them go back to their family and they just forget about you. There's some that don't. There's, it could go all kinds of ways. So that's why I wanted my own baby. But at the end of the day, I have my baby girl now. She's helped me tremendously. Now I'm okay with not having any more kids. But a lot of people are like, so what? Like, then are you not happy? No, I'm happy with my decision. And it's helped me. And it's helped me a lot when I ended up getting her and being able to, have her in my arms. She does help my anxiety too. When I take her out with me, I feel much safer. I feel at peace when I go with her. And my husband don't, because there was a long time ago, a lot of times where I would go out and I couldn't leave by myself. I always had to have my husband go with me, but God has helped me with that as well. So yeah, and she has helped me. Like, there's times where if I get anxiety or I feel anxious, I hold her and she comforts me. And there's a lot of people that get him because of that. And even there's scientifically proven that they help with it. It calms you. It's like you're holding a real baby, but it's not. It's a doll, At the end of the day, I know it's a doll. She said that The doctor asked if she needed to send me to the mental institution, and I was like, no, because I know she's a doll. At the end of the day, I don't play with them all the time. There is some times where I'm off camera and I do hold her. I do role play with her, but it's not 24/7, and I'm not thinking in my head that she's real. I know she's a doll. There is some people that think that, I don't know, they believe their own lie, which is crazy, because there's people that will say they have a baby or they have a kid out in the world that's not real. It's their imagination and they believe it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I don't feel like these are, to have a silicone baby doll or reborn baby vinyl is crazy to me. I don't think though that is. I believe that there's a lot of people too that can't have kids. They murder them, and they murder the moms and take the baby out of the tummy because they want a kid so bad. That's crazy. I don't feel like I'm crazy. I don't. A lot of people might think so and think that all of us that have dolls are crazy. I don't think so. I think we're normal people and we have hobbies, and there's something that a lot of people like doing. There's other people that have different hobbies in life. But anyways, so that's why I purchased the silicone baby doll. And for the people that ask, why not adopt? Why ask why anymore? People don't know my story, but this is my story, and like sharing because this might help someone else. If you guys do have childhood trauma, please get some help. Please go to counseling or talk. This has been therapeutical for me to put on makeup and talk about my story and talk about things that have happened to me, because it really helps me. I feel a lot of weight off my shoulders when I do talk about my story time. I did have an old channel that I talked about a lot of my trauma, a lot of my stories, because yes, I was doing BetterHelp as well, and that helped me a lot too. But me sharing my story with others will help, and it helps me tremendously. Let me tell you guys don't even know. But anyways, with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one, and never forget, y'all, te amo muchísimo. She has helped me so much. She has helped me so much. Why not adopt? Why not buy a silicone realistic baby doll? She has helped me grieve. She has helped my sadness. She has helped my childhood trauma. She has helped my anxiety. She is the best baby ever. Mwah, mwah. She my baby. She my baby. My buddy, wherever I go, she goes. My buddy, mwah. Say bye all my dolly friends. My mommy loves me so much. Also guys, I was all over the place. This was really hard for me to do, and it's been like now 7 years since all this happened, so it was hard to remember everything. But when I said in there that we didn't know her, I meant my husband didn't know her at all. I knew her. I've known her since she was little, when my sister used to take care of him and watch him. And then when I would go visit my sister, I seen what she would do to her kids and how she was acting when she was there. So I knew a little bit more, but my husband didn't. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clear that up. And also when I said that my sister's husband was touching her, she said she just meant like not touching her in her private parts, just like touching her on her butt, she had mentioned. So I just wanted to throw that out there.